Alright, just as I get started, really quick, people asked about a fly, so I decided on the end of this video I'm going to tie this orange and black comet. It's a great fly. I use it for both drifting and swinging. It's also an awesome high water fly for Chinooks, and it does leave a pretty good mark on the salmon and the steelhead too when they're around. So it's a great little comet. It's a great fly for fishing a variety of different water conditions. I've been tying a bunch of those, so I thought maybe I'd show one on the end of this video. So please give the fly tying videos a little bit of love. I don't do well with them. Share the video a little bit. Help me get some attention with the fly tying so I can do more. I don't usually do a lot of fly tying videos because they just die in the algorithms on the YouTube channel and it really hurts us. And I love to do them, but we just get beat up with them. But anyways, what's going on? Really quick, we still got slots available for the August 25th Sunday Spey casting clinic. So if you're thinking about doing it, jump on. We have room on Sunday. We start at 8 a.m. We meet at the compactor route to a fishing access on the Salmon River, and we finish up at noon. The fee for the class is $125. There's a max of 10 students. Me and Ricky are the instructors, so it's a 5-to-1 ratio, which works great because it's enough to keep us moving along. There's enough people there, we're not hovering over you, but it's a small enough group where we can give you all the one-on-one custom instruction that you might need. So if you're new to Spey cast, you don't have any equipment, we got you covered. If you've been doing this for a while and you want a little brush up on your casting techniques or help with a cast, we can do that too for you. Our casting techniques and styles are all based on fishing the salmon. So anyways, that's the only real announcement I got. So a real heads up on what's been happening in the last few weeks. We had some hurricane rains come through, hit us around the 10th of August, and the river went to 3,000. Now we've had so much water, so much rain through July and August that the ground is borderline saturated, which is saying a lot with all the trees and all the plant life just pumping moisture out of the ground into the atmosphere. We're having a hell of a growing season, folks. And so to say that we have a lot of moisture is a bit. So I think in the last couple of days there's been some salmon caught in the Douglaston. I know a few guys have been putting around in the estuary, hooked up a couple of fish. So there's a few salmon. What I mean by few, there's maybe 50 in the entire river system right now, if they're still alive, because they come up this time of the year in a little cool water pulse. Then the water settles down, slows down, we get to our cool spirit, we get back to our normal summer temperatures, the water gets hot and the fish die. Normal for this time of year. Well, that's a normal fish behavior, but it's pretty early. I mean, it's looking good for an early start. The size of the salmon from the boat crews are saying that they're very good. The fishing out in the lake has still been just on fire. So everything's looking good for the upcoming fall. You know, you never know until after Mother Nature gets done showing all of her cards, because she doesn't really have a good tell. But it's looking, the potential's there for a very good salmon season, very good fall season. So that's kind of what's going on right now. The Salmon River is finally starting to come down in the last 24 hours. I think we're down to about around 350 released at Pineville, which means they're probably dumping about 285 out of the dam. That'd be my guess. So we've had very little 185 water flow. So I'm hoping the water stays down for the next couple of weeks. The reason I want the water down for a while is it just kind of clears all the salmon out of the system. It kind of stalls the fish out in the lake. Any fish that want to run early are just not that interested in coming in. They just kind of stage out there. And there's the reasoning for the madness is we're 2 weeks off from the Labor Day weekend water release. So the first weekend of September, Labor Day weekend, what'll happen is the minimum flows change, as if it mattered this summer, because we've had so much rain. We go from a 185 minimum flow to a 350 minimum flow. So on Friday night, on Labor Day weekend, Friday night, the river goes to 750, and they'll run 750 for Saturday to Sunday, and then that Monday they go to a 350 water release. So generally speaking, we have a squirt of fish when they do that water pulse. You know, how much will show up? Well, what I tell everybody, there's always somewhere between 20 fish and 2,000 fish. Most of the time it's closer to the 20 fish. But it's kind of what I call my unofficial start to salmon season. And I intend to be on the water that weekend and see if I can just find a salmon. We usually take the camera gear so you can watch us fail, get beat up. We've had a couple weekends where we got absolutely taken to the woodshed. We've had others where we just rinsed off a bunch of flies. So we'll see what happens. We're going to be on the water. It's kind of nice, just a good time to just kind of start the salmon season and have a couple entertaining mornings, at least a good morning walk on the river, and kind of get the start of the unofficial start of the fall. So that's kind of what's going on. Do I expect a lot of salmon that way? I expect a handful. I expect a few things in there. Those fish will move through the system pretty quick at that higher water. Water temperatures also have been pretty decent. I mean, they've been down as low as 65 degrees. We've had some hot weather, so I wouldn't be surprised that the river's back up into the low 70s. But the good thing is the fish are not super deep out in the lake, and the fishing's been very good. So that's kind of what's going on right now. That's kind of the update. There is no big run of salmon in the Salmon River. There's just an odd fish here and there, and you're going to spend a lot of hours trying to find one. But if you're going up there, you want to kick around and see if you can find that early salmon, I would suggest you fish from about in town on down and cover a bunch of water. What to use for flies, stay with the standard stuff. You know me, I fish a lot of willy buggers in different colors. So like I said, I got piles of flies here, so right now I'm just tying flies like a madman, getting ready for the fall campaign. Until then, that's what's going on. That seems to be what's up with the river. One last thing, Pineville will have our flies, and I'll be carrying a bunch of little Lost River sort of fly boxes. Unfortunately, I'm not set to sell them online. I don't think Pineville's going to carry them, so just flag me down or check with Ricky, and we'll get you a box if you're interested. That helps support this channel and everything we do. Until then, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell icon, because I'm going to try my best to pump as much video time through the next few months while we're on the river to you. And if you can't go fishing, watch our videos and fish vicariously through us. See ya. Alright folks, forgot to mention, stay tuned. As I said earlier, we're going to tie this fly right now. Here we go. Few people have asked me to show a couple flies for the fall and do a little tying thing. So I was doing a batch of these comets. This thing, I don't know what you call it, a reverse boss or whatever, but it's just a nice orange and black variation, which is a great Chinook comet. And this is tied a little bit larger. I think this is kind of on a, I don't know, probably a 3X size 2 wet fly hook. Basically, don't ask me what, it's some eagle claw hook that I've had kicking around in the box for years, so I decided to use the hooks up, to be honest with you. I wanted a large fly with a little bit of action, something a little bit heavier, anticipating some high water. So a couple real quick things. One is I use a lot of leftover slopping for the hackles. The tail is some Arctic Fox, but I'll tell about the materials as I get going through the tying. So once again, like I said, this is a big hook. It's a 2. It just happens to be one of these nickel-plated old eagle claws. I think this hook has been around so long. No less is it old enough to vote. I think it's old enough to go out and buy us a beer. Actually, I think it's probably almost closing in on middle age. Well, anyways, just your standard 6/0 black thread. Since the hook's a little bit, with these nickel-plated hooks, they get a little slippery, so I like to kind of spiral wrap a base of thread down there to give everything for the material to sit onto. I'm using this Arctic Fox, so I'm going to get a gob of it. The Arctic Fox is great. It's durable, it's soft, has a lot of action in it, but it also comes with a huge amount of underfur. So what I do is I just kind of pull some of this out and just kind of pinch and hang on the guard hairs, and then I'll take a quick look at the guard hairs. I got some extremely long. I'll just do a hand stack, And generally speaking, comets have long tails. So I at least do a body length tail, maybe a little longer, and I'll tie that on. Now what I'm going to do is just, I got enough room here, so I'll just basically tie it the length of the hook shank. Doing that, it kind of helps secure everything, and it keeps the body kind of even. Now for the back half of this is some orange diamond braid. So here again, I'm going to come up probably 2/3 of the way up. I'll just tie it along the side. That way I keep a nice even body, and just carefully butt wrap up. And wind. He's a big fly, so it takes a few turns. There we go. I'm probably around half the remaining hook shank. Tie that down. Get it secure. Now I'm going to grab a gob of Estes. This Estes has been laying around in here, so it's kind of tangled. And I should have done a better job of prepping, so I have it laid out straight. But what I want to do, if you look really carefully at the Estes, you see the little flashies kind of going this way. And so I want to have the flashies kind of angling that way. So I'll come to the end. That way it stacks a little bit better. And I'll just clean off the tip here to get a little of the flashies off that. Tie it in a few turns. Tie up onto the braid body a little bit, and then I'll just kind of do a sloppy job of butt wrap. The whole idea is I want that thick front shoulder, because I'm going to use it as a foundation under the hackle, and I leave a little bit more room than you think you need. So I've only done about maybe 6 turns, and I got probably 2.5, 3 hook eyes worth of bare shaft back here. A couple turns to tie it in. All right, get that out of the way, secure it. Now for hackle, this is some black slopping. And I go through, or in this case it's strung hackle, but the slopping parts gets mixed into the string hackle. So I buy my string hackle by the pound. So there's a lot of it. And I kind of, and they say it's sorted, not really. But which is great, because I get this big webby stuff that you wonder what you're going to do with. Well, this is going to be the collars for my my comet here. So I'm going to kind of get back a little bit when the fibers, what do you call these things, start to get long. Cut back. Leave a little bit of a tag in there. And kind of cut it a little short, but secure it in tip first. And then I'm going to just do a butt collar wrap. Take a turn, groom the fibers back, do a turn, groom the fibers back. Just kind of do it until I just, as each turn it's getting a little longer and a little longer, and we get a nice flow on the collar. Come back and secure it. Then I'll just take my fingers as a hackle guard. I'll pull back, and now I got all my fibers back. Turn back up on the body a little bit, or not back on the body, up on the collar. That'll secure everything. By winding back up, you can get a nice secure base, and it protects the stems in there from breaking when they survive a few fish. And you can also note there, if you take a look at it, I don't know if without zooming in, I don't have a camera person, but if you take a look, you'll see how the Estes creates a shoulder to keep the hackle skirted out. So that way, when it swings or even drifts, it'll have a nice little bit of beautiful movement. And then what I'm going to do is, since it's a comet, I use bead chain. In this case, I'm using the medium bead chain because it's what I have. And I'll just kind of figure 8, tie it in on the top, and secure it. Now, a couple of words of warnings. Everybody does it all the time. They think they're going to be smart and they'll use small lead eyes or clouser eyes. I strongly discourage that, because this is a heavy fly and it sinks really well on its own. And by putting lead eyes right in here, all it does is just go in, wedge in the rocks, and yeah, you can be anchored up as well as my drift boat. So the lead eyes just, all it really does is just help you lose flies. Where the bead chain will get you down where you need to be and help keep the fly down. It's just enough weight to make it work right. In fact, sometimes I find the bigger bead chain can actually be a little too much. Whip finish behind the eyes, and there you go. There's that comet. A couple words on this thing. How do I fish it? Well, this is what's great about this thing is these can be great on the swing, especially you got to get your tips down deep. You're fishing very deep in some heavy water. These things will get pulled down very easily with the sink tips. So they'll ride behind the sink tip really good. They'll come down and sink into your deeper runs, your faster runs really well behind the sink tip. But if you're a pocket water fisherman, and a lot of times trying to get that fly fast down into a pocket to drift and swing right can be really hard, and this is a good solution. Especially when I'm dealing with a lot of heavy water, pocket water fishing, which we could be seeing this fall. There's my little orange and black comet. This is Jay at JPEG Guides and Lost River Fishing. We are a year-round fly fishing catch and release guide service. We fish the Lake Ontario tributaries, and then during the spring and the summer we also fish the inland trout streams, classic dry fly fishing. During the heat of the summer we will do the warm water fishing for bass and pike. If you're interested in any of our outings or have any questions, please feel free to email us at fish@lostriversfishing.com. Hope to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.